U.S. Supreme Court is considering whether a ban on bump stocks enacted under former President Donald Trump should stand.
This is a violation of that federal law. The federal judge that initially ruled in this agreed, saying it's up to Congress.
The ban came after the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas.
Members of Congress are also trying to answer what the Attorney General just called the most difficult question in a democracy.
When a gunman opened fire from the window of a hotel, killing 58 concertgoers and hurting hundreds more.
Gun regulation debates. In a recent development, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a significant Second Amendment case, Cargill versus ATF, which questions the classification of bump stocks as mash guns under federal regulations. This case challenges the ATF's regulation of bump stocks under the National Firearms Act, or NFA, and the Gun Control Act, GCA, raising crucial questions about the interpretation and application of arm regulations. The central issue revolves around whether bump stocks should be classified as mash guns and subjected to federal regulations. Bump stocks are arm accessories that enable semi-auto arms to mimic the firing rate of fully automatic arms. The ATF previously classified bump stocks as legal arm accessories, but following the 2017 Las Vegas shooting, there was public outcry and pressure for stricter regulations. The case has garnered significant attention from both arm rights advocates and proponents of stricter arm control measures. Arm rights advocates argue that bump stocks do not meet the legal definition of mash guns and should not be subject to the same regulations. They contend that regulating bump stocks could set a precedent for broader restrictions on arm accessories and infringe upon Second Amendment rights. On the other hand, proponents of stricter arm control measures argue that regulating bump stocks is necessary to prevent mass slayings and enhance public safety.
The U.S. Supreme Court is considering whether a ban on bump stocks enacted under former President Donald Trump should stand.
Members of Congress are also trying to answer what the Attorney General just called the most difficult question in a democracy.
A U.S. district judge temporarily blocked the enforcement of the ban, later overturned by the state circuit court.
Who claims the ATF overstepped its authority when it banned the accessories.
They assert that bump stocks enable shooters to inflict greater harm and that stricter regulations are needed to address loopholes in existing arm laws. During oral arguments, the justices grappled with complex legal and technical questions surrounding the classification of bump stocks. They considered the language and intent of existing arm laws, as well as the potential implications of different interpretations on arm rights and public safety. The outcome of the case could have far-reaching implications for arm regulations in the United States. A ruling in favor of the ATF's classification of bump stocks as mash guns could pave the way for broader arm regulations, while a ruling against it could bolster arguments for less restrictive arm laws. Meanwhile, in Washington state, the Senate passed House Bill 2118, a controversial piece of legislation that imposes stringent regulations on arm dealers and threatens to put many small businesses out of operation. The bill has sparked heated debate and drawn criticism from arm rights advocates who argue that it infringes upon Second Amendment rights and unfairly targets law-abiding citizens. House Bill 2118 includes provisions that mandate surveillance requirements and impose additional burdens on arm dealers, particularly small businesses. Critics argue that these requirements are excessive and burdensome, making it difficult for small firearm dealers to comply and stay in business. Furthermore, opponents of the bill argue that it undermines the rights of law-abiding arm owners and does little to address underlying issues related to arm violence. They contend that focusing on stricter regulations for arm dealers ignores more pressing issues such as mental health and crime prevention. During debates over House Bill 2118, senators proposed amendments aimed at mitigating the impact on small businesses and protecting personal privacy. However, most of these amendments were ultimately rejected, signaling a victory for proponents of stricter arm control measures. The passage of House Bill 2118 in Washington state reflects ongoing tensions between advocates of arm rights and proponents of stricter arm control measures. As states grapple with ways to address gun violence and enhance public safety, debates over firearm regulations are likely to continue at both the state and federal levels. In response to the passage of House Bill 2118, armed rights advocates have vowed to challenge the legislation in court, arguing that it violates constitutional rights and unfairly targets law-abiding citizens. The outcome of legal challenges to House Bill 2118 could have significant implications for armed regulations in Washington state and beyond. Bump stock reclassification. The debate surrounding the reclassification of bump stocks as mash guns by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has reached a critical juncture, with the U.S. Supreme Court now tasked with reviewing the matter. At the heart of the legal discussion lies the interpretation of the statutory definition of a mash gun and whether bump stocks align with this definition. Initially, the ATF's decision to redefine bump stocks drew significant scrutiny and legal challenges. The Fifth Circuit Court, in a notable ruling of 13-3, determined that the ATF had exceeded its authority by classifying bump stocks as mash guns. The court emphasized that bump stocks did not meet the technical definition of a mash gun as outlined in the Gun Control Act and the National Firearms Act. This decision underscores the importance of adhering to precise statutory definitions and highlighted the need for congressional or regulatory action if bump stocks were to be regulated differently. The legal debate surrounding bump stock is multifaceted, including complex statutory interpretation and implications for arms regulation.
The ban came after the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas.
This is a violation of that federal law. The federal judge that initially ruled in this agreed, saying it's up to Congress.
When a gunman opened fire from the window of a hotel, killing 58 concertgoers and hurting hundreds more.
And they're saying, they have the authority to do that. The gun rights groups that are suing.
Well, obviously bump stocks are only a 20-year-old technology, right? There's no way that Congress in 1934 could have anticipated.
The Supreme Court's review of the bump stock reclassification case represents a pivotal moment in the ongoing discourse over Second Amendment rights and arms regulation in the United States. The court's decision could have far-reaching implications, shaping the legal framework surrounding arm accessories and the authority of regulatory agencies like the ATF. In addition to the legal considerations, the bump stock debate also intersects with broader political and social issues surrounding arm control. The controversy surrounding bump stocks has reignited discussions about the balance between individual rights and public safety, as well as the role of government in regulating arms. Moreover, the regulatory landscape surrounding bump stocks has implications for businesses and stakeholders in the arms industry. The ATF's reclassification has prompted concerns among manufacturers, retailers, and arm owners about the potential impact on their livelihoods and legal obligations. The outcome of the Supreme Court's review will undoubtedly influence the future of bump stock regulation and its effects on the arms market. Amidst the legal and political debates, efforts to educate and engage the public on arms regulations and safety remain crucial. Advocates on both sides of the issue continue to promote awareness and understanding of the complexities surrounding bump stocks and firearm policy more broadly. By fostering informed dialogue and civic engagement, stakeholders seek to contribute to a well-informed and constructive discourse on arms regulation and public safety. Analysis. The debate surrounding the reclassification of bump stocks as mash guns has reached a critical juncture with the recent Supreme Court arguments. At the heart of the matter is the interpretation of the statutory definition of a mash gun and whether bump stocks fall within its definition. The Fifth Circuit Court's ruling that the ATF overstepped its authority by classifying bump stocks as mash guns underscores the complexity of this issue. During the Supreme Court arguments, the focus shifted to the mechanical operation of arms equipped with bump stocks. The central question revolved around whether the use of bump stocks constitutes auto-fire as defined by the Gun Control Act or GCA. The debate delved into legal principles such as Chevron deference and the rule of lenity, which could influence the court's decision regarding the interpretation of the term mesh gun. The decision by the Fifth Circuit Court emphasized that if Congress or the ATF wishes to include items like bump stocks in the definition of mesh guns, it is Congress's responsibility to amend the statute accordingly. This highlights the separation of powers between the legislative and executive branches, indicating that regulatory agencies like the ATF cannot unilaterally expand the scope of existing laws without explicit congressional authorization.
He used a semi-automatic rifle that was equipped with a bump stock so that it fired like a machine gun.
The appeals court that was asked to step in and allow the regulations to continue agreed with the district court judge.
They are coming for your guns. They're listing them out in this extensive legislation.
Of domestic abuse, you shouldn't have a gun. If you're on social media threatening the lives of people, you shouldn't have a gun.
Despite objections from some senators, including Democrat Senator Peterson, the bill was ultimately passed with bipartisan support. However, the disagreement over storage requirements between the Senate and the House necessitates further reconciliation before the bill can be enacted into law. Given Governor Jay Inslee's track record of supporting arm control measures, it is widely expected that he will sign the bill once it reaches his desk. The effective enactment date of July 1, 2025 provides a timeline for arm dealers to adjust to the new storage requirements. However, the looming prospects of lawsuits indicates that the legal battle over House Bill 2118 is far from over. The contentious nature of the legislation reflects broader societal divisions over armed rights and regulation, with stakeholders on both sides preparing to defend their positions in court. As the debate continues, it is essential to consider the broader implications of armed regulations on individual rights, public safety, and the economy. While proponents argue that stricter regulations are necessary to prevent armed violence and enhance public safety, opponents contend that such measures infringe upon Second Amendment rights and disproportionately impact law-abiding citizens. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.